Hey YouTubers, I'd like to show you a bike I made in 1980, way before I moved here. In fact, when I moved here from my mom's, I brought 4 bikes with me, and this is one of them. Last time it was ridden, my friend Les Deal took it to a park on his honeymoon. It and one that I made for his wife. But it's kind of cute, little 20-inch boy's bike it was. You can see I did the Wade Made Motorized Mayhem, or Wade Made Motorized Cycles back then with a felt marker. Thought that would be kind of cute. That front springer was actually, these bars came way out front and these bars crossed back over them, and the wheel was back here in behind, and I thought it looked kind of unchopper like. And it was for a 20-inch wheel. Well, the way I've got it now with the rockers out in the front like a normal motorcycle springer would be, I had to extend, instead of this pipe being pinched up in here, I had to move it down and weld it to get more height. And I actually thought about taking it off and putting it on one of the 26s that I ride more often. But you can see how wide I had to sprawl them the gray fork out to get it to go on the outside of these rockers, because originally the gray fork went on the inside of those stops, and the stops and everything was back here. It just didn't look good. It was kind of goofy. All right, up here on the seat kept tipping back, and I didn't want to get ground off on the tire. That was before the sissy bar and the back fender. I put a chain around it just to ensure that seat stayed down. I wish that seat I hadn't boogered up the front, but I did that on another bike before it was ever on this one. Motor, Billy Bergen had taken it completely apart, scattered it all out on his driveway, and was going to scrape it up and throw it away, and I begged him to not do that and got it from him and put it back together with everything original, gaskets and all. Never buy gaskets. And it's a sweet little edger motor. It is a 78 model, and that was in 80 when I built it, so that wasn't a very old motor. You can still see evidence of the weeds that they knocked down riding it in the park on whatever trails Les and his wife rode them on their honeymoon. Still got some of the seeds inside the pedal crank socket, because I brought it, when Les brought it back, I hung it up and it ain't been touched since. Made my own little old chain guard out of some shelving bracket that came from J.A. Sex Hour back when I worked there. They had oodles and oodles of it, so I brought a bunch of it home and used it. Used a gooseneck for a seat post so I could kick the seat back a ways, and utilized the other side of the other side where the handlebar went to make my belt guard for the intermediate shaft. And in order to lock it down, it looks like I welded a gear to the inside of a pulley. Got the old Mercury clutch, which comes in and grabs the belt. The reason it looks like it's loose. My brake, this is cheesy as all get out, but it worked. It's what I had, so it's what I used. I gotta get my light in a good spot. Well, that's good enough. Push down on this pedal, which has that big old spring, and it pushes the brake into the tire. Once again, when I was younger, I was impatient. I was ready to ride. Here's a better view of the brake scrubber. When you push that pedal over there, I tell you, whatever gets the job done. Back here on my sprocket, I used a bicycle sprocket, bolted it to a Cub Cadet tractor axle flange that my brother liberated from International Harvester. Got threaded holes for the lug bolts, and they welded them to a stub. But I took bolts on the inside edge of it. These ones, where's my finger at? There we go. These ones right here, and bolted them to the teeth of the small sprocket. 3 of them, equally spaced, and it centered up really good. You can go wide open and run the snot out of it, and it doesn't throw a chain or anything. Got an extra raggedy old belt just in case one were to bust. You ain't got to push it home. And in my own cheap way, I welded a bicycle rear wheel sprocket to a pulley so I'd have a way to lock it down on the jack shaft, and got good greasable pillow block bearings for my jack shaft. Homemade car wash and sponge air filter. A bona fide motorcycle, some brand of motorcycle twist grip for my throttle. There, now you can see it work good when it ain't in such a tight turn. I didn't have ape hangers on it at first, or the sissy bar. They kind of came later. I'd every now and then make a little refinement on it, but you can see the motor plate was part of one of those little old mini bikes that had the motor tilted. And it was junk and wasn't worth fixing. Plus, I wanted to make my own, so I just cut the motor plate out. Didn't use its, that's the socket where the swing arm went, I think. Might have been for the jack shaft. But anyway, that was my motor plate. That got me around having to cut elongated slots without a torch, without anything fancy. So that's the reason that got used. It's never been wiped on or clean. Ain't no need. It's ugly, and it's kind of, this is a rat bike before rat bikes became cool. I made it in 1980. I was born in the tail end of 54, so it's been a pretty good while back. But I'm going to fire it up here soon. I noticed I must have cleaned the tank. There's little real brown gas over in the corner. But all in all, the tank looks daggone good. Looks shiny as can be over on the pocket right under the fill cap. And I kind of do my own thing on these throttle. I'm always leaving stuff in case I want to change things up. I left all the governor stuff hooked up. Well, I used the governor linkage bracket for my intermediate bracket. But all I'd have to do is run a wire in there to the air vane governor, and I could put this motor on something that needed to stay at one constant speed. But I don't get rid of stuff, because too many times I've taken things off and throw them away and then think, doggone it, I want to change that up, and then it's too late. Looks like I must have cheated at one time and put a anti-squeal hole here where I could reach through and spray my sprag clutch if it was dry on trying to gall up on the snout on the crankshaft. Taking the cheap way out. I should have took it off and done it right, but sometimes when you're interested in riding, you do whatever you got to do. All right, that's all I got on this one. When I get it out and ride it, I'll do another video, but it kind of size-wise and shape-wise is reminiscent of the Peter Fonda style. Ape hangers, sissy bar, not a long front end, but a Springer just the same. Kind of cute. John Wade on YouTube. There's a bunch of John Wades, but if you scroll down till you find John Wade and the word motorized, you'll know you got the right deal. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.